Hey guys, it's me, Kay. I know it's been a hot minute since I've done anything on this channel that involves especially seeing my fucking face. But you know, life gets difficult, everybody has to go do shit that they don't really want to do at work. And well, this stuff kind of gets put on the back burner. But here I am talking about shit that needs to be talked about. Because for the past 2 years I've been working with, but actually more like 4, despite not being paid, a group of voice actors, aspiring voice actors, and the way that they have been treating people behind closed doors isn't necessarily the greatest. And to brush things aside and to just pretend that it never happened is the exact same way that these things happen again and again and again and again and again, and nobody ever fucking talks about it. So here I am. I'm not a victim of this, but I am speaking out for people who are. They are going to be remaining anonymous in this video because I am perfectly fine with playing the villain. That's what I've done most of my life. I used to be friends with Davi Vanity. I'm not fucking afraid of being seen as a villain in your silly little group. But what I am afraid of is more people becoming victims because they are unaware of the shit that you are doing. So, I joined this group back in May of 2024, and since then, I became close with quite a few of the people there. And then one of the people that have designated themselves as the Big Three, who the fuck calls himself that? That's such a narcissistic thing. Anyways, one of the people that called themselves the Big Three had said that I was the mother of the server in one of the videos that I think is actually even on YouTube. It was our little April Fool's thing. But you dare call me the mother of your server and expect me to not know what's going on behind closed doors? Honey. Anyways, first I'm going to be doing a nice little timeline about everything that happened this year, and then I'm going to delve into all of the bullshit that's been happening. So, first I'm going to drink a little bit of coffee because I'm very fucking tired. Yeah. Anyways. January through February, I made it known in the server that I've been having issues with notifications on my phone. I am not able to fucking afford a new one. I'm still using said phone for this video. The only reason why my lighting is so perfect is because I am borrowing my fiance's beautiful little ring light that they've had. So, I don't have notifications still. I don't know anything that's being said to me ever on any social media because I don't get notifications, period. I have tried restarting my phone. I can't afford to get it fixed. I can't afford to get it replaced. Do you know how fucking expensive phones are? Anyways, I made it known in the group that I had no notifications and there is no way for me to afford to get this problem resolved. At the time of January and February, this was only pertaining to Discord and Facebook. Everything else was perfectly fine. Later on down the line, early February, I was having far more issues with notifications across all applications on my phone. The only thing that I get notifications from today are text messages, phone calls, my security system, and on occasion, Instagram. Only on occasion though. I don't know why it's only on occasion, but every other day I'll occasionally get a notification, and then it'll be like a couple of months before I ever get another one again, and I'm like, all right, this is fine. But for those of you that aren't a part of this group, occasionally they will have, I don't know if they still do, because honestly I kind of just dipped out after a while, but we're not at that part in the timeline yet. They would have like little group things where you either stream a movie together or they play a game together, and that kind of stuff excites me. I like to be included. I like to play games. I like to watch movies. I like to fucking have friends. But, you know, with the lack of notifications, that's kind of not something that I can easily participate in. Who wants to have their face glued to a phone screen 24/7? I hate technology with a fiery passion. It pisses me off. Maybe because all of my technology eventually becomes fritzy, but that's probably just a me issue. Anyways, in February, I posted my number publicly in the VA portion of the chat, so that way I could be notified of these things. So that way I wouldn't keep being left out. In the beginning, yeah, sometimes I would get messages, hey, we're starting this now. Hey, are you still wanting to do this? We're going to be doing it in about 15 minutes. And then over time it just dipped and subsided, and just eventually I never heard anything again. I was never notified. And do you know how lonely that makes somebody feel? Because you find more interest in everybody else in the group because they're, well, we're not at that part yet. Anyways. I needed a minute because that's fucking upsetting. I thought that I was genuinely a friend to you guys. I thought that I was genuinely a part of your group. And for me to just slowly be forgotten and ignored by basically everybody is kind of really shitty. What the fuck? Anyways, in March, I noticed nobody was taking the effort to keep me in the loop of these fun group streams like I had asked. It was just an ask, and it takes 5 seconds to send somebody a message. So I dipped out emotionally because I wanted to protect my own heart from constantly being broken because I thought that these friends actually wanted me around. I don't feel like I want to be what. I can't speak English. I don't feel like I'm wanted around there at all. And as you can tell, I've been absent for this long, and while yeah, I am missed for my voice work in a way that they need somebody to get it done, they don't miss me. I have only had one person outside of my private group from that group ask me if I'm okay, and that was in relation still to voice work. I have given you guys nothing but respect and understanding, and nobody ever can fucking give the same to me. So that's why this video has been a long time in the making. I originally wanted to make this in September, by the way, but I had a lot of shit happen, and we're getting there. In May, I was made aware of the things that I am going to be talking about at the end of this timeline recap. Boy, I had to fucking scroll on my little thing that I have here on my tablet because that's a lot of stuff. In mid-May, I started struggling with my cat, Abby, in private. I didn't post about it publicly on social media or anything because I genuinely just thought this was just an episode. It'll be fine. My cat's fine. I was in denial for multiple months that my cat had declined very, very badly. In July, I publicly shared my struggles with my cat. And if you scroll through my social media, you can find my post where I had posted a little video of her. I was so excited because I thought that she was doing better. But, you know how things sometimes get better before they get worse? In mid-August, and having looked at the dates, this was actually just a couple of days before I had to put my cat down. Oh, that was a good neck crunch. In mid-August, I got a message from Laurette asking if I could re-record lines due to static in the background. Now, while I'm no professional, I do take this stuff seriously, so I definitely listen to my stuff before I send it in for editing or cropping, whatever the fuck they do, because I'm not good at video shit. But when I listened to them, I didn't hear any static or anything. But this is a kicker. I don't have central air in my apartment, so you might be hearing my air conditioner in the bedroom. I do all of my recording on the very fucking opposite side of the apartment. So you really shouldn't be hearing it, and I don't have fans on. That microphone that I was given by you guys also has sound canceling in it. I'm not sure why there was static on your end, but when I sent it in, it was perfectly fine. But again, this isn't about me. This is just currently a timeline of the shit that went down, leading up to the big spiel of everything that I have been holding inside that just needs to be fucking stated. Late August, the very end, I lose Abby. We had to put her down. Her feline cognitive disorder was getting very bad, and as was her incontinence. It had gotten to a point where I was breaking down almost daily because of literal shit on the floors, in my bed, on my lap, from her wanting to be on my lap, because it's my child. Of course she wants to be on my lap, and then I would break down because whenever she would get off of my lap, there it was, just poop on my lap. We had to put her down. And not even a week later, Arcanic forwards Laurette's message to me, asking to re-record these things, knowing the stuff that I'm going through. I have known Arcanic for almost 10, is it 10 years? 5, I don't know. Somewhere between 5 and 8 years. It's still a long fucking time. I have helped this person through a lot of stuff. I have been nothing but understanding and patient. I don't force you to say anything, but you come at me knowing that I'm struggling, having just lost a cat that I very much deemed as my child. Asking me if I can work. Not only just work, because remember, we don't get paid. None of us get paid for this. You're asking me to work for free while I'm grieving my cat. You could have told Laurette no. One week later after this, I found out that my college best friend passed away. And I make a public post further asking people for patience. Because now I'm dealing with the loss of 2 things that I very greatly loved and cared about. Thankfully, after this, I am no longer bothered by anybody. I was respectfully asked about an understudy, which, I mean, that's not really necessary because I fucking quit. But anyways. If you know someone is going through a hard time, you don't ask them to work. You ask what you can do to help. You don't forward messages asking them to work. You tell that person to shut the fuck up and give them a goddamn minute. And now that we are done with the timeline, we are going to the cherry on top of the cake, which is the shit that they did to other people, which is far worse than what they did to me. Now, remember, I did say that I was friends with Arcanic for a long time. And finding out about this really hurt me, because I thought that this person was my friend, but I have learned recently that not everybody that smiles at you is your friend. Some people will use those things that you tell them against you. Arcanic likes to use people's triggers against them to get a reaction out of them in voice chats. I know this because not only have I witnessed it, but I have also been told by people that he would listen to what they said bothers them, then purposefully bring it up just so that way they can react. And he gets a kick out of it. That's so fucked up. You know that this person gets deeply upset by these things. Why in the fuck are you purposefully making them upset? Why do you get kicks out of that? Do you realize how insane that is? That's something that a psychopath does. Thankfully, that's the only thing that I really know that this person did, but that... You're not my friend. Friends don't do that. Bonkman basically groomed and stole people from other servers. He would go into servers and he would coerce them and talk to them in a way that makes them feel special. And then he would invite them into the Pantheon server. And then after a while, they become nice and situated in the Pantheon server. And then they start putting Bonk on this pedestal. And then they're just like, oh, it's the other people that are wrong. This person is right. Listen the fuck up, people. As someone that has been friends with Davi fucking Vanity, which is definitely not something that someone says for clout. Listen to me. This person is manipulative as fucking hell. I almost said fucking fuck just because I'm tired. But several people have been used sexually by this person. And I'll have to say this. These people were just barely of age. People that are just barely 18 years old being groomed by this man. That's fucking disgusting and borderline pedophilia. This man is in his fucking 30s, by the way, in case you didn't know. That's very fucked up. You don't go after almost minors being a 30-year-old, goddamn weirdo. Said people were also abused mentally and emotionally by this person, Bonkman. Others were manipulated and were told to keep it secret. Only people who are planning on repeating these behaviors will tell someone to keep the negative ways they treated them secretly. Remember Davi Vanity that I just mentioned? Tell people to keep shit secret when you treat them bad? Ring any bells? If you don't know who this man is, you should probably look them up, by the way, because it's going to make a lot of sense as to why I'm so fucking frustrated. Because I have dealt with this before. Multiple fucking times, and I'm very fucking tired. But anyways, now it's no longer secret, buddy. People know. And I don't care if I ruin the Pantheon server in your eyes, person who has said that the last person that spoke out about this stuff in the server ruined it, because you're happy as a clam in there right now. And as someone that has been your friend for a while, listen to me when I tell you that this is very, very fucking wrong and you need to open your eyes. Am I ruining the server? No, the person doing these things to people is the one ruining the server. God, how many times have I had to go over this stuff? I've been through a shitty ass server before. I didn't make a public thing about it, but dear fucking God, am I tired. Now on to another person. Laurette. Another member of the big three. Go fucking figure. It's always the people that give themselves a narcissistic title that is always the narcissist. Laurette is constantly saying that other people's trauma is invalid because they differ from her own. You see the problem there, right? Of course other people's trauma is going to differ from your own, sweetie. They a different fucking person. Oh my God. Get out of my face. I'm not dead yet. Anyways, just because someone's trauma is different than yours does not mean that it is in any way lesser or invalid, as you so said. Which, by the way, we have receipts. I am saying we, the collective we, because remember, I'm the villain here. Laurette also constantly misuses and misuses people's pronouns and misgenders them, despite being constantly corrected. In voice chats, I would be the one to constantly tell this person, no, it's he, they, or it's she, her, or it's she, they, or they, them, and this person just does not get it. At that point, it is not any sort of thing relating to a language barrier. That is a choice. You are very much fucking fluent in English. You can't claim it's a language barrier when you're constantly making the choice to misgender people. That is a problem. Stop it. It's really not that hard to just make a note of someone's pronouns until you fucking get it in your goddamn head. Laura excuses Bonk's behavior because she was told about the things that Bonkman did to these borderline underage people. And she said, that didn't happen. I don't see anything wrong. I keep slapping because there's a gnat flying around my face. It's attracted to my setting spray. Ugh. She even goes as far to say that what he did is not manipulation. But I'm sorry, the people that get to decide whether or not they were manipulated are the victims themselves, not somebody else that has close ties to the manipulator. Dear God, it really is fucking Dottie Vanity all over again. When all of the things that Bonkman did were brought to Laurette's attention because we thought that she was also another victim of Bonkman. So, you know, as someone that is concerned, people are gonna ask, hey, are you okay? Like, we think that you're kind of, God, I have fucking hair attached to my nose. No wonder I was itchy. Are you okay? We think that you're kind of being misused by somebody. You go around and you excuse this person's behavior and even go as far as to say that it did not ever happen to the people that say that it happened to. And you put your full confidence and trust in this person that people are saying have been misused and mistreated by this person. As someone that has learned in the past, listen to people when they say they're being mistreated by somebody. Dear fucking God. But she even went as far as to tell these people that they weren't being manipulated. I'm sorry, but it is not your place to decide whether or not a victim is being manipulated when you have close ties to the manipulator. The victim gets to decide. You are too close to the manipulator for you to be able to see clearly what is happening. And therefore, you think that it is perfectly hunky-dory. I'm sorry, but it really isn't, and you need to open your eyes. Bonkman privately states that he will be working on himself to improve and to not have any of this happen again. Now, since I have emotionally and, well, physically dipped out of the server, I don't know if this is true. I haven't been paying attention because, quite frankly, I am fed the fuck up, and it is not my job to teach people how to behave. You might call me the mom of your server, but my kids don't fucking act that way. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, we know that you didn't change yourself because, you know, remember how I said that Laurette enables your behavior? And yeah, you guys are in a relationship now, and one does not go into a relationship as a changed person with the very person that enabled their bad behavior to begin with. Usually people go into a relationship with someone that's trying to better them, not this very same person that was like, oh, you're perfectly fine the way you are. You're not doing a goddamn thing wrong to anybody. These people are crazy. Well, I have said my piece on all of that, and that's the information side of everything that Bonkman, Laurette, and Arcanic Magician have done to everybody. Side notes from my own personal experiences and what I was promised before joining this group. Upon being asked to join, I was promised that there would be opportunities to dub persona stuff, fan dub persona stuff. Everybody that knows me on Instagram and Facebook knows that I fucking love Persona. That is my hyperfixation besides Genshin, because I mean, look at all those Genshin dolls. But again, this isn't about me. Well, actually, this part is about me. I lied. But, I was promised Persona dubs. No, upon joining, no one ever fucking mentioned anything to do with fan dubbing Persona. I've been around outside too much. Nobody has been... I'm gonna try that sentence again. No, ever since I joined, nobody ever mentioned Persona fan dubs ever again. It's just like it sort of just went poof up in smoke and... Bonkman said that people would be paid eventually. But the problem with that is that all of the money from monetization, he said, was being put in a special account before, so that way they could figure out how to pay everybody, which, I mean, it's been 2 years since I've joined. That shit's not happening. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He spends all of those monetization funds on advertising that I personally have never seen discussed with anybody in the group. Now, if that's something that the big three are doing all by themselves, that's not okay, because Pantheon of Hearts is supposed to be a group project, and it's not a group project if only 3 people are deciding everything for everybody. That's a dictatorship, just about, you know, just saying. But, along with that, he proceeds to ask artists in the group for free art. So you're going around spending monetization money on advertising art that nobody asked for, but you still want to ask the artists in your group to draw stuff for you for free. Make it make sense, bro. The big three, as they so called themselves, constantly complained in the personal VA chat about all of the work that they constantly have to do because of all the roles that they gave themselves. But here's the kicker, they refused to give any roles to anybody, despite including people that very much want to join Pantheon of Heart. They refuse to give these roles up because they would rather keep them to themselves so they can remain the big three. It's all just a big fucking pedestal act for them. And I'm sorry, but you may have built Pantheon to be like this amazing big place for you, but Pantheon can also mean tomb, and you really did build your own tomb, so now you're gonna lie in it, guys. When I was no longer seen as useful to this group, I stated previously about this kind of in the timeline, but once I no longer was actively contributing to anything, I just literally got pushed aside. I was never seen as a friend to this group. I was just seen as someone that they could use for these things. I never volunteered to edit videos. I never volunteered to make art. I only volunteered my voice. And that's the essential it for when I was necessary in that group. That's it. That's all that I ever was to them. I thought that I was friends, but guess not. And so here we are. That's it. I fucking went through my list. That was a long ass fucking video, but I am so thankful for any of you who actually stayed and listened to everything, and to Bonkman, Lorette, and Arcanic. I quit.